The Abbot of Canterbury, a ballad written by an anonymous poet. Well, the ballad means a poem in which some story is told, and anonymous means the name of the writer is not known. Let us go through the poem and see how the story is told. It says that an ancient story I'll tell you, Anon, of a notable prince that was called King John, and he ruled England with main and might, for he did great wrong and maintained little right. Well, King John is not known as a very good king in the history of England, because during his times England suffered many losses, and that is why he says that he ruled England with main and might. Main and might means with power and force, for he did great wrong and maintained little right. This line actually has a figure of speech in it, antithesis. Wrong and right are the two antithetical ideas, two opposite ideas that are written in this line, and such lines actually are the examples of antithesis. He says that, and I'll tell you a story so merry concerning the Abbot of Canterbury, how for his housekeeping and high renown they wrote post for him to fair London town. Means I'll tell you a very interesting story about an Abbot of Canterbury. Housekeeping means to run house, that to run his house and to maintain his high renown, he used to have a very luxurious lifestyle. They wrote post for him to fair London town. Well, to ride post means to change a horse at every post. In ancient times, when people used to travel on horses, people, in fact the rich people, used to have new horse after a distance, because the fresh horse used to take them to their destination with greater speed, and that is why the abbot also used to have this practice, being extremely rich. 100 men the king did here say, the abbot kept in his house every day, and 50 gold chains without any doubt, in velvet coat waited the abbot about. Here again some glimpses about the wealth of the abbot are being given, that and it is also being told here to us that all this information is being told to the king, that the abbot was so rich that hundreds of men used to serve him in his house, and in fact some of his servants used to be so rich that they used to wear gold chains and velvet coats. Now this line, and 50 gold chains without any doubt in velvet coats waited the abbot about, is an example of metonymy, because in metonymy you actually use the name of an article for the person who uses that article. So 50 gold chains actually are the things that used to be worn by those servants, but instead of talking about those servants, the writer is saying that 50 gold chains without any doubt in velvet coats waited the abbot above, that people wearing gold chains in velvet coats used to attend him. So after hearing these stories, the king decided to call him to his court with an idea to rob him of his possessions by laying some false accusation upon him. So he calls him. He says that, how now, Father Abbot, I hear it of thee, thou keepst a far better house than me, and for thy housekeeping and high renown I fear thou workst treason against my crown. So king says that, Father Abbot, I've heard that you keep a far better house than that of mine, and I believe that to maintain this luxurious lifestyle, you actually are working treason against my crown, against my government. To work treason means to work against some government, to work against some country. Now, after hearing these accusations, Father Abbot says that, my liege, quoth the abbot, I would it were known. I never spent it nothing but what is my own, and I trust your grace will do me no dear for spending of my own true gotten gear. So very meekly, very humbly, the abbot says that, my liege means my lord, I would it were known. I wish you to know it. I want you to know it. I never spend nothing but what is my own. That means whatever I possess is actually my own possession, and true gotten gear means I have not earned it with some wrong means, and I trust your grace will do me no dear. Dear means harm, that you will not cause me any harm, you will not do any injustice to me for spending of my own true gotten gear. That means whatever I have earned with my own hard work, and I hope that you will not do me any dear, you will not do me any harm for spending what I have earned with my own hard work. But the king was bent upon robbing him, so he says that, yes, Father Abbot, thy fault it is high, and now for the same thou needs must die. For except thou canst answer my questions 3, thy head shall be smitten from thy body. Instead of hearing the explanations of the abbot, he straightway says that your crime is extremely high, and if you do not answer my 3 questions, then I will strike off your head from your body and will forfeit whatever you possess. So here, see, in these lines, thou is used. Thou is an old form of you, and canst also means can. In ancient times, the word canst used to be used, but now in the modern English it is can. So for except, if you can answer my 3 questions, or if you answer my 3 questions, I will let you go off. If not, I will strike off your head from your body. So having said this, the king started telling the 3 questions that he believed that the abbot should answer. First quote the king: when I am in this stead, with my crown of gold so fair on my head, among all my liegemen so noble of birth, thou must tell me to 1 penny what I am worth. Quote means said. So in ancient times, with the singular noun or with the third person singular pronouns, people used to place th with the first form of the verb in case of present indefinite. That is not in use nowadays. Nowadays we use s or es with the first form of the verb. When I'm in this stead. Stead means place. With my crown of gold so fair on my head, among all my liegemen so noble of birth. Liegemen means the attendants, the people who are sitting around me. They are also of great families, and they also are extremely respectable. But among them you must tell me to 1 penny what I am worth. What is my price? To 1 penny means exactly. So he says that you have to tell me exactly what I am worth. What is my price? Secondly, tell me without any doubt how soon I may ride the whole world about. At the third question, thou must not shrink, but tell me here truly what I do think. So the first question was, what is my price? The second question, how soon I may ride the whole world about. And the third question, what am I thinking? So there you see that all these 3 questions are extremely tricky and clever questions, and whatever answers you may give of these questions, the king may refuse them, because no clear-cut, straightforward answer of these questions is possible. Now hearing these questions, the abbot became extremely afraid, and he, in a very meek and humble way, said that, oh, these are hard questions from my shallow wit, nor I cannot answer your grace as yet, but if you will give me but 3 weeks space, I'll do my endeavor to answer your grace. So he says that these questions are extremely hard questions for my shallow wit. Shallow wit means low intelligence. I'm a man of a very shallow, very little intelligence, and I do not have the wisdom to answer these questions. If you give me but 3 weeks space, I'll do my endeavor. Endeavor means to make an effort. So I'll do my endeavor. I'll do my best effort to answer your questions. Now king, after hearing this, says that now 3 weeks space to thee will I give, and that is the longest time thou hast to live. For if thou dost not answer my questions 3, thy lands and thy living are forfeit to me. So here the king says that, okay, I'm giving you the 3 weeks space, and that is the longest time thou hast to live. Thou means you, as I have told you. And he says that, for if thou dost not answer my questions 3, thy land and thy living are forfeit to me. Forfeit to me, I will take hold of them. I will possess them. Not only your lands, your possessions, but also your life. Away rode the abbot, all sad at that word, and he rode to Cambridge and Oxenford. But never a doctor there was so wise, that could with his learning an answer devise. Here we are told that after having this 3 weeks space, the abbot went to Cambridge and Oxford universities, and we also now come to know here that these universities were functioning during those times. In fact, it was the time when these universities were established. So this is also a very satirical sort of idea, very interesting idea, that these very abbots or these very churchmen who were against these universities, or the people who were teaching and learning in these universities, they were against them, and they used to believe that these universities are working against the church, against the religion, so these universities should be closed. But now when he heard these 3 questions, he believed that only an intelligent person, a wise person from these universities can answer him the answer of these 3 questions. But never a doctor there was so wise. Doctor means an intelligent person, a scholar. So he didn't find any scholar, any highly learned or wise person from these universities that could with his learning an answer devise. Devise means to make an answer. So nobody was able to give him an answer of these 3 very difficult questions. So when the abbot could not find any answer of these questions, he decided to go back to his house, to stay over there, to rest over there for the last 3 days of his life, because he now was sure that after these 3 days his life will be no more. And the writer says that then home rode the abbot of comfort so cold, and he met his shepherd a going to fold. How now, my lord abbot, you are welcome home. What news do you bring us from good King John? So here, when he was going to his home, on his way he met his shepherd who was taking his goat, sheep, or cattle to the fold. Fold means the place where these cattle or herd are kept. So he was going there. So on his way he met the abbot, and he very happily, very joyfully asked the abbot that you are so honorable, you are so respectable that the king had called you. Tell us, what news do you bring us from good King John? On hearing this question, the abbot said, sad news, shepherd, I must give, that I have but 3 days more to live. For if I do not answer him questions 3, my head will be smitten from my body. That means, shepherd, I've got a very sad news for me, because the king has asked me the 3 questions, and if I do not answer him those 3 questions, he will strike off my head. He told him the 3 questions. The first is to tell him there in that stead, with his crown of gold so fair on his head, among all his liegemen so noble of birth, to within 1 penny of what he is worth. The second, to tell him without any doubt how soon he may ride this whole world about. And at the third question I must not shrink, to tell him there truly what he does think. Well, on hearing these questions, interestingly, the shepherd said that he does know the answers of these questions, or he can devise the answers of these 3 questions. So he says that, now cheer up, Sir Abbot, did you never hear yet? That a fool he may learn a wise man wit? Lend me horse and serving men and your apparel, and I'll ride to London to answer your quarrel. So he says that, cheer up, Father Abbot. Sometimes illiterate people also know very wise things. Now here the word fool is used in the sense of an uneducated person. So he said that though I am an uneducated person, but I also have the wisdom, I also have the cleverness to answer these 3 questions of the king. You simply lend me horse and serving men and your apparel. Apparel means sumptuous clothes of the abbot or the clergyman that you're wearing. You just give me these clothes, and I will ride to London to answer your quarrel. I will go over there and I will answer these questions. Now on hearing this, the abbot looked at him with wonder, or with a little anger, because first of all, he was not a literate person, and the abbot had been to Oxford and Cambridge universities, and over there even the great doctors of that university were not able to answer him those questions. So he was also wondering that how this illiterate fool, or how this illiterate shepherd will answer these 3 questions. And moreover, he was also afraid that the king will recognize him. On his wonderment, the shepherd said that, nay, frown not, if it hath been told up to me. I am like your lordship as ever may be, and if you will but lend me your gown, there is none shall know us at fair London town. So he says that, do not frown at me with anger or with wonderness, because people tell me that I'm exactly like you, that I resemble you in my appearance, and if you will but lend me your gown, there is none shall know us at fair London town. That if you simply give me your clothes, or if I simply put on your clothes, I'll be just like you, and nobody will recognize me. Even the king will not recognize me over there, because I have got great resemblance with you. So hearing this, the abbot decided to take this last chance, and he said that, now horses and serving men thou shalt have, with sumptuous array, most gallant and brave, with crozier and mitre and crotchet and cope, fit to appear before our father the Pope. He says that, okay, you will have all that you want, the sumptuous array. Array means the line or the queue of gallant and brave men, and with crozier and mitre. Crozier means kind of stick, the hooked stick that the bishops or the clergymen of those times used to use, or used to have in their hand as a symbol of their authority. He says that I will give you this crozier as well, this mitre as well. Mitre means a sort of cap that these abbots used to wear in those times, and rochet and cope. Rochet means gown, and cope means another gown, a silky gown that these abbots wear during the religious occasions, religious ceremonies. Fit to appear before our father the Pope, that whenever we go before our Pope, the head priest of ours, to Rome, we always put on this dress and take this dress and go. Now, after putting on the dress of the abbot, the shepherd goes to the court of the king, and it was exactly according to the idea of the shepherd that the king could not recognize if it was the abbot or his shepherd. So he says that, "Now welcome, Sir Abbot," the king did say. "It is well thou art come back to keep thy day. For and if thou canst answer my questions three, thy life and thy living both saved shall be." That if you answer my three questions, I will forgive you your life and your possessions as well. And he says that it is well thou art come back to keep thy day. To keep thy day means that you have kept your promise. "And first, when thou seest me here in this stead, with my crown of gold so fair on my head, among all my liegemen so noble of birth, tell me to 1 penny what I am worth." At this question, the shepherd replies that, "For 30 pence our Saviour was sold, among the false Jews as I have been told, and 29 is the worth of thee, for I think thou art 1 penny worse than he." Now, this is a very clever answer, because according to a story in the Bible, it is told that a disciple of Jesus Christ betrayed him simply for 30 pence, for 30 silver coins. The name of the disciple was Judas, and Judas actually deceived him, and he told the enemies of Jesus Christ the whereabouts of Jesus Christ. So he says that it was simply for those 30 pence that our Savior was sold, that it was for those 30 pence that somebody betrayed our Savior. So if the price or if the worth of Jesus Christ was only 30 pence according to that person, then your price should be 29 pence, because you are a little less respectable than him. So of course your price should be only 29 pence. Now do you see that it is a very clever answer, because if the king says that his price is greater than this, then the people sitting in the court may have got against him, and that is why he was just speechless at the answer. So the next stanza says that, "The king he loved and swore by Saint Beetle, I did not think I had been worth so little. Now secondly tell me without any doubt how soon I may ride this whole world about." That how soon I may ride the whole world. The next question, answer me. The shepherd very cleverly answered that, "You must rise with the sun and ride with the same. Again the next morning he riseth again, and then your grace need not make any doubt, but in 24 hours you will ride it about." That if you want to travel around the whole world, then it is within 24 hours that you can do it, but for this you have to rise with the sun and ride with the same. You must never let the sun go ahead of you. You must never let the sun set, but you have to keep riding with it. And if you are capable of doing this, then surely within 24 hours you will be at that very point from where you started your journey. Now this was again a very clever answer, and certainly the king didn't have the words to deny this answer. So the king he loved and swore by St. John, I did not think it could be done so soon. Now from the third question thou must not shrink, but tell me here truly what I do think. This was the trickiest question of the all, the most clever question of the all, and the shepherd here started taking off the cloth, and underneath that dress his shepherd dress was visible. That was very amazing for the people in the court as well. And he while taking off that dress he said that, yes, that shall I do and make your grace merry. You think I am the Abbot of Canterbury, that you are thinking that I am the Abbot of Canterbury, but I am his poor shepherd, as plain you may see, that I am come to beg pardon for him and for me. That you are thinking that I am the Abbot of Canterbury, but I am not the Abbot of Canterbury. I am his poor humble servant, his shepherd, and I've simply come just to beg pardon from you for my master and for me. It was a very interesting situation for everyone in the court, and the king started laughing at this, and all the people in the court were also laughing. And the king he laughed and swore by mass, I'll make the Lord Abbot this day in his place. So the king enjoyed this merry jest of the shepherd, and he said that you have made me extremely happy, and I believe that you are more sensible, you are wiser than your master, so I will make you an abbot at his place. At this the shepherd said that, now, nay my liege, be not in such speed, for alack, I can neither write nor read. He says that I am not able to have this designation, have this great honor, because I am not able to read and write. So I just cannot accept this offer. The king was extremely happy at this, and he said that 4 nobles a week then I will give thee, for this merry jest thou hast shown unto me. And tell the old abbot when thou comest home, thou hast brought him a pardon from good King John. That the king set a stipend for him of 4 nobles a week. Noble is also a kind of coin that used to be used during those times, so it was also a form of currency. So he says that your stipend is 4 nobles a week because you have. Go and tell your master that your king has forgiven you.